ワニブックスニュースクランチチャンネルをご覧の皆さん、こんにちは。本日はジャンボ鶴田、試練の十番勝負令和編第6戦としてなんと不沈艦スタン・ハンセンさんをお呼びしております。1973年、ジャンボ鶴田が、日本でデビューしないままにテキサス州アマリロに行きまして、そこで出会ったスタン・ハンセン、ハンセンさんにその当時の思い出、さらに、90年代、お互いトップとして戦った頃まで語っていただこうと思います。本日はスタン・ハンセンさんにジャンボ鶴田さんの思い出を語ってもらおうと思います。
Okay, we're going to talk about Jumbo today.
Oh, great guy.
ハンセンさんがプロレスラーとしてデビューしたのが1973年の1月1日、エルパソでデビューしました。
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
で、ジャンボ鶴田は3月にアマリロに行きまして、
And Jumbo went to Amarillo in March.
3月の24日に
It was the 24th of March.
アマリロの TV マッチでデビューしたんですが、ひょっとしてハンセンさんが初めて会った日本人ってジャンボ鶴田さんなのかな。
I think there was Akito Sato. I think he was there, and Kung Fu Lee was there.
いやいや、小鹿さん。
Yeah, Kochika-san. Yeah, and they were really involved in the business and were veterans, you know. My first impression is they got me to go down, and they wanted to the Funks were giving Jumbo a chance to do some stuff, and so they had him asked me to come down and let Jumbo do some Olympic throws and everything to show what he could do.
最初はファンクスがいろいろジャンボをなんか使いたかったんでいろいろさせたかったんですよ。でその時に自分が呼ばれて行ったんですよ。でそこでなんかジャンボのなんかそのアマレス仕込みのなんかそういう投げとか、見てみたかったんですよね、ファンクスは。はい、それでなんか僕そこに飛び込んだわけなんですけど。
And I quickly learned that his Olympic training and so forth, and taught him all these different kind of wrestling moves, which I was pretty green too. So I didn't know how to take a bump, but Jumbo just threw me around, So he was fairly green too, I think, as far as professional wrestling. But he had a lot of knowledge of wrestling itself, obviously, as he did it. Maybe so, but I right away, Jumbo was higher up on the card than I was really green. I mean, I was just starting, so I was in the opening 2 or 3 matches, and Jumbo quickly was in the middle of the card, or they worked him into a lot of things because obviously he had experience from the Olympics and his training. So he was pushed or given the opportunity to be higher up on the card, more valuable commodity, I guess.
ジャンボの場合デビューして2ヶ月でアルバカーキでNWA 世界チャンピオンだったドリー・ファンク・ジュニアにも挑戦してるっていう記録が出てるぐらいやっぱりプッシュされていた。
Well, I think obviously because of his Olympic background and all of his amateur, he was well advanced as far as wrestling, much more advanced than I was, and a number of people. So he naturally could go in there and go with Junior and Terry and different people. He was involved quickly, into the semis and main events sometimes.
これは何かのインタビューで読んだのかな、鶴田さんが言ってたのかハンセンさんが言ってたのかちょっと覚えてないんですけど、試合して2人でリープフロッグやって空中でゴツンコしてどっちかが歯折っちゃったみたいな。
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that till he mentioned it.
言われるまで、すっかり忘れてました。
I still have a chip on my tooth.
まだかけてますよ。
Jumbo.
あの時の。
To this day, it's still there, and it's because we were teeth to teeth.
歯と歯がぶつかり合っちゃったんですよね。
多分一緒にサーキットもしたと思うんですけども、よくテリー・ファンクがアメリカのそのプロレスの道場はサーキット中の車のバックシートで先輩の話を聞くことだみたいなことを言ってましたけど、そのジャンボとコミュニケーションを取ったりはしてたんですか？
You know, we traveled together a bit because the main event guys, you know, kind of had their own clique and everything. So Jumbo and I drove and often, and I mean, that's how we got to really know each other. And we used to go and train together, weightlifting and everything, on certain days when we were in Amarillo. I don't remember Jumbo driving. I don't know if he had a license or what, international license or whatever, but he rode with me because we were kind of I needed to drive somebody to get a little bit of money for gas, you know, the trans, and he you know, so he rode with me a lot because we were kind of the same age and everything, and more veteran, probably did other things, you know. Many time after the match, though, that we would have the matches, and then we would drive to the next town, and it might be 300 miles or it might be 100 miles, but a lot of times Jumbo and I would, you know, after the matches, we would get in my old beat up Maverick, Ford Maverick, and we would drive to the next town, and we'd have Gatorade and, you know, some chips or whatever.
あとはその当時ジャンボはホリデーインかなんかに住んでたと思うんですけど、そこでインスタントラーメン食べましたか、ジャンボの。
He probably did, you know. But I'm sure there was a restaurant in that Holiday Inn, and he could have probably got a breakfast and so forth and so on. But a lot of the wrestlers stayed at that Holiday Inn. They had a special deal for the wrestlers, so you know, the Funk set that up for him to stay there. I had a house, a rent house. You know, we all the wrestlers, obviously we ate a lot, and I used to eat a lot more, and I was trying to get bigger to make more money, and you know, Jumbo, he had a good appetite too. So in Amarillo, there was a really famous steakhouse called the Big Texan, and you could eat a 72-ounce steak. If you could eat 72-ounce steak and baked potato and everything in 1 hour, you didn't have to pay for the steak, which was, you know, about $40 or something like that. So they one time they put on a steak eating contest. It was separate from that 72-ounce thing. So the Big Texan, I guess Dory Sr. or somebody set up, oh yeah, we'll put Stan Hansen and Jumbo in the steak eating contest. So they had a 1 hour time limit, and who can eat the most steaks in 1 hour.
だから1時間の間で何枚食えるかっていうコンテストだったんですよ。
And there was they had two cowboys, just normal cowboys. One of them was a much smaller guy, you know. And so, I mean, so we started eating, and, you know, I think Jumbo ate like 3 or 4 steak, you know.
ジャンボが3、4枚食べたんですよ。
So, I mean, he had to eat a lot, yeah.
かなり食べた。
Oh, I can't eat
で、それで
anymore.
もうギブアップだったんです
You
よ。
know, and I was like 6, you know, I was like 6 or 7, you
自
know.
分は6枚か7枚ぐらいだったと思うんですけど、
And this little skinny cowboy, he was like on his 9th or 10th state. And Jumbo and I finally just went, forget it, you know, you win.
鶴田選手と自分はあれ見て、もうやめたって言って、もう
But the guy was so small.
す
The
ご
guy,
い
he
ちっ
just
ちゃかっ
could
たんです
eat,
よ。
just eat.
もう底
We'll
なしだった
never
んですね。
forget, you know,
もうあれ
Jumbo and I
忘れもし
said,
ない。
golly.
そうだ、2人でね共同作業タッグを組んでるんですね。8月の9日のアマリロスポーツアリーナで、ハンセンジャンボ組がファンクスのインタータッグに挑戦してます。でその後はねキラー・カール・コックス・ボリス・マレンコ組とかね戦ってますね。9月のねオデッサではね、テリー・ハンセンジャンボ組トリオですね。
Oh, there was like a triple, there was a 6-man tag.
vs サイクロン・ネグロ、
Wow.
ドン・ファーゴ
Don Fargo.
ー、ペイトリオット、
The
パトリオッ
Patriot.
トね
Patriot, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
なんていうのもやってるし、あと多分これがね鶴田さんのアマリロ最後の試合かもしれないん
This
ですけ
might
ど、
be Jumbo's last match in Amarillo,
9
possibly.
月23日にアルバカーキで、
September 23rd.
レッソントン
Albuquerque.
ラリー・レーンとやってます、ね。
Well, I mean, he could do everything, and I was basically I could get a headlock and a couple of arm bars and so forth and so on. But Jumbo had a huge. He could do everything almost. You know, I mean, he was a real, you know, wrestling. He knew how to wrestle and how to do a lot of different holds. And he had learned, you know, the pro wrestling moves and holds too. He was a smart guy, you know, and so he caught on quick.
この対戦相手見てると当時のアマリロにいた選手ってなんかすごい人ばっかりで
And
す
now
ね。
that we look back on it, there was a great roster of wrestlers in Amarillo.
I mean, Carl von Stagger, Moose Morawski, you know, like you said, the Patriot. There was, I mean, the Fargos, Johnny Fargo, Don Fargo. You know, they were all great talents. Of course, the Funks and Ricky Romero, and I mean, there was a lot of great talent. And I was really fortunate to break in Amarillo where that kind of talent was really great in training me, because there was no school. It was just get in the ring and learn as you went.
でまあそれでジャンボは日本に帰ってしまうんですが、それから3年後にハンセンさんが初めてオールジャパンに
Then Jumbo goes back to Japan, and 3 years later, you wind up coming over.
Yeah.
でその時はもうジャンボは馬場さんの次のナンバー2ぐらいにいて、
And Jumbo was already the number 2 guy under Baba by
Right.
that time.
ハンセンさん初めての日本で本当に下の方の扱いだったんですけ
But
ど、
it was your first trip to Japan,
Right.
and it was for all Japan.
で調べたらシングルマッチが1回、あと、タッグが2回、6人タッグが2回って5回しかジャンボと対戦してないんですよ。その時
I was happy to be there, you know, and but obviously, I mean, I knew from my experience in Amarillo with Jumbo that he was destined to be. I mean, he had all the credentials from the Olympics and everything, and I mean, he was good. So I wasn't surprised that he was like second place, or you know, in the top hierarchy of all Japan.
それからさらに今度6年経ちますと、ハンセンさんはニューヨーク行ってニュージャパン行って、で82年にオールジャパンに来て、今度はトップとしていらっしゃって、今度ジャンボとこうトップで戦うようになりま
Then
し
you
たけ
kind
ど
of have a
も、
detour because after that you go to New York.
Well, I mean, I've gotten a lot more experience and everything, and as he had, I mean, he had become legitimate, you know, top guy in Japan, you know. So I knew that he had learned, and I mean, he started out knowing a whole lot, but he got more and more, you know, he got better and better, and he he had a great position, the number 2, I guess, position for All Japan. And, Brody was keeping me up with, how he was doing. And I was coming for New Japan. So, I mean, I would see the papers and the press and everything and know what was going on. I think at that time, sometime during that time, at the KO Plaza, Jumbo came over to the KO Plaza, and he and I and the press came and just kind of made pictures of us talking. Here we were 3 years after starting, and I was with New Japan, but he was the top guy, in All Japan. So we kind of got publicity of us shaking hands and having dinner together or something, if I remember right.
あとは不思議にね、試合見てるとなんか鶴田さんとやるよりも天竜さんとやる方がなんかガーッとこうパッションがあったというか。
Well, I think they were two different styles. I mean, Tenyu was more kind of the brawler. He could kind of brawl fight. He did wrestle, but he liked to chop and do a lot of different moves. That kind of my style, and where Jumbo was a little more the Dory Funk. Really good wrestling, counter wrestling and everything. So he had a different style, I think. And even when I came to All Japan, you had to change gears between Tenyu and, Jumbo.
90年に天竜さんが全日本辞めちゃって、その後ハンセンさんとジャンボで若い選手たちのこう壁になる役目みたいなものがあったと思うんですけど。
I mean, you're always conscious of trying to maintain your position and do the best that you can do, and I think Jumbo knew that he was getting closer and closer to becoming, the top guy in Japan, and Baba was smart enough to give him the push, and naturally so. So and Brody used to talk to me. Sorry, too much.
鶴田さんが92年の冬に肝炎で急にもう第一線を降りてトップから下の方の位置に行って、でも引退しないで彼はプロレスを続けて大学教授になった。その生き方をどういうふうに思いますか？
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad situation from the point of view of Jumbo as a professional wrestler and as an athlete, to end up losing your ability or health to the point where you can't do what you really love. I think he loved wrestling, but he was smart enough to try to make the transition to become a teacher and a coach at the university level. And I think that's, he didn't have a choice for one, but he also chose to do that and make the most of life.
49歳という若さで亡くなってしまいましたが、日本のファンはやっぱりジャンボ鶴田が強い時からいきなりパンといなくなっちゃった感じなんで、未だに最強のレスラーじゃないかと。ハンセンさんいろんな人と戦ってきましたけど、そのジャンボ鶴田というプロレスラーはその最強というカテゴリーの中に入りますか？
Category?
Of course.
Oh, in your book?
Yes.
もちろんです。
I mean, the strength he had from the training of Greco-Roman and just some natural, he had a lot of, trunk strength, in his hips and legs. And, it just made him, really a great wrestler. And, it's, to me, I mean, he got cheated out of the best times of, his life, but that's the way it is. But he was, and I think still one of the top guys ever in wrestling in Japan.